Good morning, good morning. Today we're going to be taking a look at XRP dominance, and the Sigma coin. So, alright, so XRP, what are we doing here? Well, we've been getting accumulated, but very silently and passively. So we've got ourselves our initial impulse of 5 waves off the low, an ABC correction. Notice how off of this fib here, we ended up doing a back test. Ooh, my goodness. Well, we'll just do it like that. Anyway, a back test of the 618 fib here. So you can see how we hit it here, came off of it, bounced it again, and just above this box, basically, of accumulation that's occurring. And this is a good sign. There may be still, of course, one more sweep lower, but this is showing that demand is lining up at this point and making it so that people are buying XRP, and they're doing it with passive limit buys. So it bounces, comes back down, fills their orders, bounces, fills their orders, gets bought up, and you can see by these candles here on the daily, they're all being absorbed in this region. So when it gets down here, people, groups, individuals, hedge funds, whatever you want, is buying the asset down here at this level. So zooming out on our daily, our VWAPs are bringing our fair market value price at $2.27. We are bouncing above -2 deviations, which is $1.90. So people are grabbing it, and this is pretty much more. There may be one more sweep down, tagging this 191. If we get it, amazing opportunity right there. So, but you can see how reactive these VWAPs have been, where we get up to the deviations and we resist them pretty nicely. So, momentum-wise, starting to turn up on these two. This one has yet to, so we're just going to we have two of them. This one's not above the 50-yard line, so we only have a one confirmation right now. So there is a chance that still there's more downside as this extends further and does something like this, for example, like maybe we're like right in here. But there is signs with how low this has been for so long that the strength for buying is eventually going to come in for market buys, and that will push price higher as the absorption takes a lot of coins out of circulation. So what can do that? Well, our 4 hours. So our 4-hour momentum is turning up, and you can see that as time passes, we'll kind of have the 4-hour click through. We'll break up to a region. We'll get overbought, breaks down, smacks back down, gets oversold, and then you can see how we're down here in this region oversold again, but we set a higher low with oversoldness, and now we're just getting absorption of momentum increasing and improving as we continue to do this. So we're already separating on this guy, so you can see where the separations start to happen. We get a breakout. So I'm expecting a breakout here pretty soon to the upside, but it may not be sustainable. Might find resistance here or here, but we're close. So because just like yesterday, this structure shows that we're fairly similar to what we did here, where we did the 5 waves and ABC, and then if we go back to XRP, there's our 5 waves and an ABC, and it's just whether or not we need to do a completion of an additional leg for that C leg down and to finish this gap close and maybe hit the -2 deviations. So anyway, so something to look out for. No real indication short of just momentum as of right now in the shorter time frames looks up, but if we lose this momentum on the shorter time frames, then of course down is in the cards. Now the dominance. So the dominance here, it was interesting. I was looking at this last night on the daily, and daily dominance off of our completion of a 5-wave move off the lows, just like we had for our breakout. We then did a WXY completion down, 5-wave move up again, and then another zigzag down. So this ultimately ended up being our flat here, and you can reclassify this 5-wave move more so as a flat because of this candle right here. So this became a ABC up, and so then this is our breakdown for the WXYZ correction for the completion of the flat. Now from that, we have done a bullish rising wedge for a wave 1 potentially here, and we'll see how this ultimately plays. But this wave 2 backtest also had an ABC to it, and we've been finding support right here at the 786, and our momentum has been completely overdone with the green worms, and you can see how that kind of signifies a bottoming area with these green worms. So ultimately this will eventually kind of start rising, and over the next maybe couple days we'll start seeing the momentum return to the upside and XRP outperform the overall market, because that's what we're looking at for this one right here. So so this is hopefully the beginnings of a wave 1, wave 2, just like what we're experiencing here on the dollar price. So with a wave 1, wave 2, kind of working our way out of here. So it looks like it's fairly aligned at this point, and we're just waiting for everything to move on. So now jumping over to Sigma, we've got Sigma here on the log scale. We've got ourselves a 5-wave completion to the upside, and then we did a large WXY completion that ultimately had a lot of complexity over time as we saw ABCs downs and then ABC ups and then another 5-wave move to the downside, or even an ABC with a capitulation on 1010. Since then, we've been holding our higher lows through this kind of short-term correction here, kind of almost looking like XRP really if you look at it, right? So here's your XRP, 5 waves, and then you kind of have this 5 waves down and then like another higher low, but it's a falling wedge at this point that I'm starting to see on a lot of memes actually. So from there, we now have this price action move up, but it was requested to kind of relook at what measurements can be off of this. So this is our wave 1, wave 2, and our wave 1, wave 2, if we were to go from our current price to the 1618, that would take our market cap on Sigma to 77.53 million, okay? If we were to do that, we would have 11,496% upside from here to there. Wow. Okay. Even a return just to the prior all-time high at this point is 17x. Amazing, right? These are not challenging considering the market cap of this coin is sitting in the 670 range, right? And spaces every day, bridges that we've made now for 2 different chains, all those types of things, use case, none of that matters, right? It's all about price go up, and that's what people want to see, and so that's when they buy. From there, though, X-Force and I have kind of discussed, and we think that there's a great possibility that this full run here for the next wave would take us to the 2.618, and that would mean that we would have a 264,000% upside potential. And that would be absolutely parabolic, taking the market cap to 1.63 billion for the 3rd largest market cap coin overall on the layer 1. This would easily be, a normal price to expect for a trillion, multi-billion and trillion-dollar asset that XRP is likely to move into. Not to mention that when XRP breaks out, the automatic market maker will actually push price higher with the AMMs and make everything go to the upside for the market, basically. So, all right, so yes, that's basically what we're looking at here for XRP, and we're just now waiting for Sigma to move its way higher here. So great potential upsides, even the conservative return to prior all-time highs, spectacular, right? But we've had such a long year accumulation. It's been an entire year for a wave 2, so the longer the accumulation, the more explosive the upside, and that's exactly what it did. It took a year to get back down here, and now there's the potential for the explosion. So all it needs is just a little bit of oomph, and away it goes. So yeah, and we'll just continue to watch XRP's momentum here on the daily, which is starting to turn up, but we just need the 4-hour to really get it going, and at this point it looks like it can with that separation starting on this one right here. So, and the passing through the 50-yard line for this guy, the white line. So hopefully today's the day where we start to impulse a little bit and we can start seeing some green relief to this never-ending pullback here. So, all right, we'll talk soon, and thanks so much for watching.